Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.
Worcester City win that game and they will be in Division 1 Midlands next season.
Chance in Paul Job's got chance in the penalty, gets shot in and goes to the back of the net, and Cheyenne Jarvis gets the second goal for Leaford Athletic this afternoon, found space in the 6-yard box.
Back to the edge of the penalty area with the pass, crossing towards the back post, headed goalwards and in!
That's a great shot from De Castro! Oh, what a save for Gray! And Wigan 2-0!
Stourbridge have won the Division 1 Midlands title.
The Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio.
Good evening, welcome along to this week's Women's Football Chat. My name is Chris Gadsby. I'm here every week bringing you the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England. That's the FA Women's National League. This is the show dedicated to those 6 divisions within tiers 3 and 4. We are still in the off season, which means these shows are a little bit shorter, just running through some of the latest news from the past 7 days to keep you ticking over nicely until the start of the new season in the middle of August. So coming up on this week's show, we've got some new managerial appointments, we've got a manager leaving, we've got a new system in place for a club inside the FAWNL. You'll hear from Harry Roe, the Sutton Coldfield Town manager. He's been speaking to us on Switch Sport this week, and of course there is the second round draw for the Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout 2025. So still got quite a bit to go through on this week's show. Let's start by going into the Northern Premier Division and the news that was announced before last week's show aired, but after last week's show was recorded. And Burnley women have announced that Matt Beard is the new manager of the club. He has experience, of course, with Liverpool, with Chelsea, with West Ham, Millwall Lionesses, lots of experience at the very top of the women's game in this country, and he has joined third tier Burnley. He has said he is absolutely delighted. He's been impressed with everybody he's met at the club and the conversations he's had, and he's looking forward to getting started. He can promise the fan base, the players and the staff that I will work as hard as I can for them with the aim of fulfilling our objectives. The objectives have got to be getting into the Championship at the end of this season, surely. Head of Women's Football Lola Ogunbote has said that they are thrilled to welcome Matt to the club. It's great to have him on board. They've been taking great strides forward here at Burnley, and Matt's appointment is a further statement of intent, our aims and our ambition to be a successful football club. He is a coach with a wealth of knowledge and experience, and he has a real vision and passion for growing the women's game. As we make the move to becoming a full-time professional women's team this season, it's an incredibly exciting time for everyone here at the club. I'm looking forward to working closely with Matt to take the team to the next level, and would like to thank our ownership group for their continued support. That's Burnley into the Championship at the end of this season, surely, isn't it? You look at the history in the Northern Premier Division in the last 2 seasons now, the team that's been full-time professional has been the one to win the league. They have to be firm favourites to win the league. They will be expected to win the league. And even if they fall just short in winning the league with this extra promotion spot, which is likely to be solved by a playoff, you would expect them to win that as well. It is a real statement of intent from Burnley. With that comes a great deal of pressure for Matt and the coaching staff. It's going to be a season where they are expected to win the vast majority of their games, probably go quite deep into the FAWNL Cup, obviously win the county and get some silverware at the end of the season. So it's a great appointment, but it will come with it a lot of pressure, and particularly in a league where there are so few games you are able to slip up, they are going to have to hit the ground running, get that goal difference up there as much as they can, which is something that Forest did, which is something that Newcastle did, and make sure that they do achieve their aims, because otherwise there's going to be, you would suspect, another change in the summer of next season. But that's what's happening in Burnley. Let's go down now into the southern regions, where Maidenhead United have confirmed that their women's first team manager Ed Jackson-Norris will be leaving his role in the middle of July after almost 3 seasons at the club. Now, he took charge of Maidenhead United in September 2022 and turned defeats into points to ensure survival in the FA Women's National League, and then had 2 more successful seasons. Now, in 2024, he led the team to its first Combined Counties Women's League Cup, and he has now decided to step down after 3 years at the helm. He was also played a pivotal role in the formation of a development team for women's football in Maidenhead, and a significant role in the formation of their performance and coach development programmes. He will be missed by all at Maidenhead United, but we wish him nothing but the very best in his future endeavours. Now, the applications for a new manager at Maidenhead United are now open. Interestingly, that they're hoping to get that sorted by the middle of July when he leaves. Of course, pre-season has started. How will that possibly affect the pre-season of Maidenhead United? We'll have to see what happens with their pre-season results and going into the start of next season. If a new manager doesn't quite have the time to have a full pre-season with the squad, maybe they've got very different ideas of how to play football than Jackson-Norris had. So, and it's going to be one where it's going to be really important to keep an eye on, really, Maidenhead United, and see how they do, particularly at the start of the season when, again, as I've just mentioned, if you drop a lot of points early on, you're playing catch up for the rest of the season, and you can't really afford to lose more than a couple of games if you want to have success in these leagues. But then Maidenhead United may have different ideas of what success looks like this season. Some teams will be going for the promotion, going for the top spot. Some might just want a top half finish. Some might just want to get more points than they did in the 22 games last season. So it does depend a lot on what they want to do, and we'll see what happens at the start of next season. Now, got an interview coming up for you now, which we did on Switch Sport earlier this week. Now, it's a new manager coming in, but it's not breaking news. This is Harry Roe, the manager now of Sutton Coldfield Town Women. He came in a few weeks ago. We sat down with him earlier on Switch Sport this week, and he started by telling us about how his previous time at the club may have helped him secure this role now, and then what he hopes to achieve this season.
I think it helped me being in the club, knowing a lot of the people that were in and around it, and knowing a lot of the staff really knew what I was about and how I worked. I think it was a positive. Obviously, I had to go away from the club and learn my trade a little bit in terms of a different environment with different players and a different sort of atmosphere, and you pick up things along the way. But no, I think as soon as the job came available, I had a conversation asking if I was interested, and of course, I think I always loved my time here. I always thought we did really, really well. I've always had good things to say about the club, so when it was a case where I'm interested, I'd certainly have the conversation, and the more conversations I had, the more I just wanted to, have the opportunity to go and almost have a step as a number one and see how I do.
In that situation though, Harry, because you still know a lot of people at this club for the period you've been away and you've come back. Was that a bit of a challenge though? Because you're probably thinking to yourself, a lot of these people know me. How am I going across differently? Because it's almost like you've got to address it as like I don't know them, they don't know me, I'm applying for a role here.
I don't think you have to sometimes play it in case of they don't know you. I think it helps. I think the people that were doing the interview process and were organising sort of the recruitment side of things, it always helps when you know them. They know what I'm about. They'd seen my work for a long time, and when I left the first time, I left in good terms, and they were always really supportive of my next move. And then I think when the conversation came, it was just really good to come back to an environment I'm comfortable in, an environment that I have really good things to say about the club, and just give it another go.
Since returning to the club in May, what has been your initial settling period been like of these previous few weeks? And I'm going to mention two particular club colleagues in particular. James Green, of course, we know the great study work he does behind the scenes to support you and your staff as well, but also the club chairman, Nick Thurston, in particular. Two people you know very well. What's it been like regarding their support for you? And how has it been, for yourself to get an update on how the club has been operating since your previous time at the club?
Yeah, I think I came in at a perfect time in terms of the season had just finished, and it gave me a lot of time to embed where there weren't exactly, I didn't come in a busy period where there's loads of games going on or loads of squad disruption or anything like that. It gave me a really good opportunity to sit down and really analyse what we wanted out of next season, what we wanted to achieve, how we wanted to go and achieve it. And like you mentioned there, James is brilliant. James, I must phone him 5 times a day and ask him different questions and different things, and he always answers. He's always willing to help me out, and he does a lot of work behind the scenes, like you say, and a lot of people don't see it because they're not in and around and involved. But yeah, he's brilliant to work with, and Nick's the same. Nick is very supportive of whatever we want to do. He pushes the women's section really, really well. He supports it really well. He's always paying an interest, always wants to know what's going on, how we're getting on, asking loads of questions. Never is too busy for anyone. And they've both been really supportive. They both helped me settle in. Like I said, it was a really good timing piece in terms of, the sort of end of the season, so I can really get in and focus and touch base with the current squad and also look at a recruitment process. And yeah, it's been quite a nice settling transition, to be fair.
And following from that transition period as well, actually, Harry, when you first got introduced or reintroduced to the group of players, what was your initial message you said to the squad then?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I was always lucky because I knew a lot of the players already.
The line share.
There was some newcomers that I hadn't met face to face, but I think my message was simple. I think it was a case of last season's out of the way. You had a bit of a turbulent season in terms of managerial changes, and now we're back to consistency. We're back to someone that wants to be here for not just 6 months. I want to be here and commit a long time, and I think it was just a case of obviously seeing where those girls were at, because a lot had gone on and a lot of people wanted to know where they stood, and really push forward from there.
Let's move on to the squad situation for a moment, actually, Harry, because the squad are now back in training, still training twice a week, I believe, the Wednesdays and the Thursdays, and while the players will be given advice how to look after themselves outside the games, fitness programs, schedules and stuff like that. As a Tier 4 club, are there plans to make any major changes to the training schedule for this forthcoming season? Is twice a week going to be the set routine, or are you thinking of maybe mix things up as the season progresses?
No, look, I think twice a week is always going to be a solid strategy. We've done it for a lot of years. It suits lifestyles. You have to remember that these girls are people outside of the football club, and they have to make sure that you balance that really, really well. But of course, wherever we can, we're looking to give them everything we can, whether it is off-season programs, whether it is little gym sessions here and there, whether it is extra training sessions when we can. Obviously, we conscious don't want to overload the girls, and we don't want to try and make them commit too much because of how hard it can be, especially during those cold winter nights and that Christmas period and things. We'll do everything we can. We'll make sure that we get as much contact time as we can with the girls and push forward.
And of course, the squad is still taking shape. We're still in the very early stages of the pre-season schedule before the games get more serious, don't they, really? And of course, we expect this time of the year, Harry, we know and witness, don't we, a lot of a player movement across the clubs, across the National League. That'll never change, really, will it? But exactly, yeah. I partly quite enjoy that, if I'm being brutally honest. You probably don't, but there you go. But at this stage of your pre-season preparations, though, Harry, are you just mainly focused on the players' retention you've retained and getting the group to understand the key messages, how you want them to understand those messages in the training sessions?
Yeah, look, I think we all know that I call it silly season, where it comes around and you've got everyone moving everywhere. It is enjoyable. It can be stressful, certainly, and I feel like I'm on the phone 24/7 to every different person. But look, it's what we like. Football, isn't it? Football's a brilliant game. You've got lots of drama, lots of moves, lots of different moves and things, and it's part of the game. You have to focus on recruitment to an extent because you need to make sure you've got the best players available for yourselves and make sure that you give the club everything that you can give them in terms of success on the pitch. But no, of course, we have to also look at what we want to do. We have to make sure that the players that we are trying to recruit or retain match the system that we want to play and they match the profile and characteristics of the people that we want. We don't just go out and sign good footballers. We want good people. We want people that understand Sutton, that want to be involved in a really good football club, that have really good backing. And it is a bit chaotic. There is a few moments of madness within it, but it's what every manager loves, getting your squad together, trying to find the best one you can possibly do, and then hit the ground running when you can.
And we'll come on to your pre-season fixtures in a bit more detail in a moment, actually, Harry, but let's move on to the devs team. I know you'll have a connection with the devs team. You'll keep an eye on what they're doing. I know the great sterling work the club has done to always build up a strong dev section as well, but the development team, they've been doing their own work as well, their preparations, their recruitment plans as well. But will your role extend to keep a real sharp eye on what they're doing as well, Harry? Because no doubt there might be some occasions during the course of the year you might get the odd sort of conversation saying this player, I think, given an opportunity, could step up to the first team. Is that something you still want to implement this season for the club as well?
Yeah, look, I think you have to. I think every club, no matter who you are, whether you're a big name in the game or whether you're a semi-professional football club in the men's team as well, you have to have a good youth system because at the end of the day, it's what builds the club, you want players that go through the youth system. The ideal would be to have every single player come through the youth team, but obviously we all understand that football doesn't quite work that way. And yeah, of course, I'll work really closely with the development team. I work closely with all the staff, the junior section. I'll try and keep an eye on what I can. It really helps the way we train with the development team, always training close by to the first team, and constant conversations happen all the way through.
Yeah.
And yeah, there should be opportunities, of course they have to earn the opportunities like every player does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I work with Lauren really, really well. We get on really well. We have constant communications even now in pre-season about the upcoming season. So there will certainly be opportunities for the players there, and it's something that we plan to continue and keep growing.
That's good to hear that you've got that relationship still going with Lauren, of course. I know the times I've come there to watch the club as well, that Lauren is an integral part of the development section of the club as well. But pre-season programme, very interesting. Shifnal, Crewe, New Saints, West Brom, Light and Calcer. A nice range of clubs from different tiers, different sort of backgrounds as well. But these games, from your point of view, is the two key things going to be for this roster of pre-season games, Harry? Just a good fitness workout for the group. And does it give you an opportunity to sort of like we mentioned earlier on about, the message you want to say to the players in terms of training, the patterns of play? Are you going to use these games to sort of like monitor the fitness levels of your players, but also to see if they can understand the patterns of play you want to implement on the pitch for the start of the league season?
Yeah, of course. I think the fitness is massive. Of course, you want to make sure that we're ready physically. This league's getting more and more challenging every season. The clubs get access to more and more, and the physical capabilities get improved every year. And we'll work closely with Manzum, with the S&C team, to make sure that they have got fitness plans in place, and they are constantly improving week on week without burning them out. But yeah, look, pre-season's brilliant. It's where you get to implement your ideas. It's where you get to sort of make your claim for what you want to do this season, what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it. And like you said there, we've got a really good test across tiers 5, 4 and 3, just to make sure that we are competing with teams in and around us and seeing where we fare ahead of the season.
So following on from the pre-season schedule of games you touched on there, Harry, as well, let's take a look at the National League Division 1 Midlands table. A strong league, additions of Sheffield, Stourbridge and Kidderminster Harriers as well. A lot of local derbies. Yeah. I'm sure you're probably thinking, yes, a lot of switchboard derbies as well, but a lot of local derbies. But on the plus side though, derbies, rivalries, great for the fans. Let's be brutal about this, let's be positive about this as well. But on the positive, in terms of logistics and travelling and preparation for away games, not 3-hour coach journeys for some matches anyway. But, a lot of local derbies, it is, we do know, don't we, Harry, that Tier 4 is getting stronger and stronger every year. But in terms of player recruitment, how are you looking to make Sutton stand out to be an attractive proposition? Because yourself and a lot of clubs are trying to get the same pool of players, but you've got some good facilities here. Is that the starting point for you? Look at what we can bring players here too when they train and play for the club.
Yeah, look, I'll try not to give too many secrets away. I think it's really important that there's only so much you can sell to players. You have to understand that you're here and you want to get in the best players that you possibly can, and you have to understand that I'm really big on the people as well as the player. So I want to make sure that the footballers that we are trying to target understand what we're about, understand what we're trying to achieve, and really buy into that. And I think it's important with the way the game's going, with the way the game's progressing, that you look after players. It's a really important thing. These players give a lot to you across the season. Countless hours.
It's a big commitment, isn't it?
It's a massive commitment, and although we are slightly closer than we have been in previous years with sort of travelling and things, they're still giving away their full Sundays, 2 or 3 training nights a week. There is a lot to commit, so I think it's just really important that no matter who you are, when you're trying to recruit players, you have to make sure that you're looking after them. And of course, each club's got different selling points. We'll have our own, other teams in our league will have their own as well, and it's just about what you can bring, what the players are looking for, and how you can provide that. We'll certainly do our best to sell Sutton as well as it can be sold. We've got brilliant facilities. The club are really well backed by the chairman. We've got a lot of good things in place off the pitch as well as on the pitch in terms of that, looking after our players and things, and we'll do our best to build the best club we can.
Harry Roe there speaking to us on Switch Radio in the women's football chat ahead of the new Division 1 Midlands season. Bits of more news to go through now then. So Oxford United, they've got the other big piece of news from this week. They are proud to announce a major step forward in the club's commitment to women's football as the women's first team move closer to a professional model. Starting this summer, the team will transition from part-time evening training to a more advanced programme of 3 times a week to better prepare for the demands of competition. These are going to move from evening to afternoon and have a clear focus on player development, performance and well-being. So overall training to accelerate the growth of the women's team. Again, another side, we've been seeing it in these recent weeks that have really tried to push forward and go on from completely amateur to semi-pro to this hybrid model to looking towards full-time professional players in order to make that step up towards the championship. It's going to be not too long now, you would have thought, that you have to be full-time to get yourself into the championship and to stay there. Head coach of Oxford United, Sam Rose, has said this is a really ambitious step from the club to take us forward. It's fantastic in terms of development of the women's team, and he couldn't ask for any more support from the club to get us to this point. And it's my job now to ensure we take the next step on the pitch. Moving to a hybrid model is a signal of intent. It says that the club will support players to come away from their full-time job to focus on football, and it opens up a new market of players. Now, the general manager, Gemma Sims, has said a similar thing to what I've just alluded to there. They are an ambitious club. They're looking to grow and compete at a championship level, and they want to take the next journey as a club. And they've been working on this over the last 18 months or so. Now, the CEO, Tim Williams, has said it's a landmark moment for Oxford United women. We want to build a sustainable and successful future for Oxford United women. That means giving our players the time, facilities and support they need to thrive. So another team down in the south this time, and they're making that step forward. So Oxford United, you could argue, will be a team that you've really got to look at this season. We know, because it's come out in this off season, the likes of #United have kind of hit their ceiling. They can't really go much further. There's no side that's come down, so you've got pretty much the same teams. You're looking at Bournemouth have come up, they've done well. Exeter did well last season as well. But there are teams in there. This is a league that Oxford will really feel like they can win and get themselves into the championship, particularly again with this expected kind of second place playoff, or at least there is another slot available in the championship for 26-27 that somebody from tier 3 is going to have to fill. It's another opportunity and a great time really this season to make these changes and have a real push, because it could well be 2 up, not 1 up. So big news from Oxford United, good news from them as well. So that's kind of the news from the past 7 days or so. We'll keep you up to date on all of that as the weeks progress and as pre-season progresses. But coming up now, we have the second round of the Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout. Plenty of good ties from round 1. We're now down to 32 sides that have been drawn into 16 ties for a spot in round 3. Of course, you will be voting for your favourite FAWNL side, whether that's because of the colour of their kit, they are your favourite side, they're playing your rivals, whatever reason it might be. You're voting for your favourite FAWNL side, and eventually we'll whittle them all the way down to 2 who will compete in the final for the 2025 title. Let's go straight over then and do the draw for the second round of the Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout. Welcome along to the second round draw for the Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout 2025. It was a great first round. We had some really close ties. Cambridge United got the better of the University derby. Milton Keynes Dons won their little derby there against Rail Bedford. Barnsley Women's won theirs against Sheffield as well. Some great ties. We are now down to just 32 teams in the draw for the second round of this year's tournament. A quick reminder of the rules. So voting will go up pretty much as soon as this draw is done and will be open until 6 p.m. on Sunday. You are voting, you can vote twice on each tie, once with a like and then another vote with a retweet, and whoever has the most come 6 p.m. on Sunday goes through into the third round draw. Some of the ball numbers then for you in this round. Ascot United, newly promoted, they've come through the preliminary round as well. They are ball number 4. Cheadle Town Stingers knocked out Chesham United in round 1. They are ball number 9. Reigning champions Halifax made it through. They are ball number 13. Kidderminster Harriers, they had a very strong first round as well. They're ball number 15. Moneyfields, another strong side, ball number 20. Last year's finalists from 2 years ago, Norton and Stockton Ancients, in ball number 22. Wolverhampton Wanderers, our winners 2 years ago, are ball number 31. So we will be drawing 16 ties. It's a completely national draw, and then, as I said, the voting will go up pretty much as soon as this draw is done and be open for around 70 hours or so, just under 3 days, until 6 p.m. on Sunday. Let's get straight down to it with this, the second round draw of the Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout 2025. And the first ball out this evening is number 32. That is Worthing. Worthing are the first team out. And Worthing will play number 5, Barnsley Women's. Worthing against Barnsley Women's. Number 16, Leafield Athletic. Leafield Athletic, the next side out. And they will face number 11, that's Durham Sestra. Number 11, Durham Sestra against Leafield Athletic. Number 3, AFC Bournemouth. AFC Bournemouth, the next side out. And they will take on number 2, Actonians. AFC Bournemouth against Actonians. Actonians, a side that normally do pretty well in this tournament. Next out, number 15, Kidderminster Harriers. Kidderminster Harriers, the next side to be drawn. And they come up against number 17, that's Lewis. Kidderminster Harriers against Lewis. Number 12, Exeter City. Exeter City, the next side to be drawn. And Exeter City face number 19, Milton Keynes Dons. Exeter City against Milton Keynes Dons. Number 28, Sporting Cowser. Sporting Cowser next drawn. And they face number 18, that's Loughborough Lightning. Sporting Cowser against Loughborough Lightning. Number 25, Portishead Town. Portishead Town. And they take on number 24, that's Peterborough United. Portishead Town of Division 1 South West against Peterborough United of Division 1 Midlands. Number 26 is Queen's Park Rangers. Queen's Park Rangers. And they face number 4, that's Ascot United. Queen's Park Rangers against newly promoted Ascot United. Halfway through this second round draw. Number 21, Northampton Town. Northampton Town, number 21. Division 1 Midland side will face number 6, Bournemouth Sports. Bournemouth Sports of Division 1 South West. Tend to do quite well in this tournament. Number 8, Cambridge United. Cambridge United, who won that University derby against Oxford United in the first round. And they take on number 30, Watford. Cambridge United against Watford in the second round. Number 9, Cheadle Town Stingers, a side that performed very well in the first round. And they will take on number 29, Sutton Coldfield Town. Cheadle Town Stingers against Sutton Coldfield Town. Number 14, that is Hull City. Hull City, number 14 of the Northern Premier Division. Try and get a good mix in there. And they will take on number 31, that's Wolverhampton Wanderers. 31, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Hull City. It's an all Northern Premier Division tie. Number 22, Norton and Stockton Ancients, previous finalists of this competition. And they will take on number 27, Rugby Borough. Rugby Borough against Norton and Stockton Ancients. Number 10, Chorley. Chorley, another side who did very well in the first round. And they come up against number 20, Moneyfields. That's going to be a terrific tie, that is. Chorley against Moneyfields. Two sides that do tend to do quite well in this tournament, get quite a bit of interaction on social media. That's going to be quite a clash. Next out is number 1, that is Abingdon United. Abingdon United and they will take on number 23, Norwich City. Abingdon United against Norwich City. And then finally, doesn't matter which order these come out in, number 13, reigning champions Halifax, and they will take on number 7, Bristol Rovers. Halifax against Bristol Rovers, the final tie in this, the second round. That concludes then the draw. Let's go through those ties once again for you. They are Worthing against Barnsley Women's, Leafield Athletic take on Durham Sestra, AFC Bournemouth against Actonians, Kidderminster Harriers face Lewis, Exeter City against Milton Keynes Dons, Sporting Cowser against Loughborough Lightning, Portishead Town against Peterborough United, Queen's Park Rangers against Ascot United, Northampton Town against Bournemouth Sports, Cambridge United against Watford, Cheadle Town Stingers against Sutton Coldfield Town, Hull City take on Wolverhampton Wanderers, Norton and Stockton Ancients face Rugby Borough, Chorley take on Moneyfields, Abingdon United face Norwich City, and Halifax face off against Bristol Rovers. So those ties will now be up on our X pages at W Football Chat. Don't forget you can vote up to twice in each tie, once with a like and once with a repost. Those ties and voting will be open until 6 p.m. on Sunday, at which point we will know the 16 teams who have gone through to the third round of the 2025 Women's Football Chat Summer Knockout. Get voting. There we are then. 16 ties have been drawn for that second round. Voting is open now, and you can do that on our X page at W Football Chat. All of the ties are up there. The voting pages are up there as well. Get a like on your favourite side. You can vote a second time as well with a repost. And whoever has the most at the cut-off point Sunday at 6 p.m, they will be the ones who go through into round 3, that round of 16, as we're starting to really whittle the FAWNL sides down now. Speaking of things for you to get involved with, we have 2 more bits of pieces to go through. Firstly, we have a new quiz. If you go over to at W Football Chat, there's a quiz on there. How many of the 25-26 FAWNL sides can you name from memory? We've put a quiz up there. You get 10 minutes to try and name as many as you can. We've had some players already. Drew has 81% and reckons he could get them all if he had more than the 10 minutes allocated. And Nick had 78%. He says he'll take that as well. It is difficult. You think you know the FAWNL when you're put against the clock with none of them in front of you. If you're doing it from logo, of course, it would be far more easier. But no, just all from memory. How many of the 72 FAWNL sides can you name from memory? So go and have a go at that. Go and see how many of the 72 you can get on our quiz. Now, finally, for this week's show, we've got our next cryptic FAWNL brain teaser. Now, the last one, a fiery place results in consequences for young boy. A fiery place, consequences from a fiery place is a burn. And a young boy, a boy with a young is obviously quite short name, would be Lee. Burnley, the side that was the answer to the cryptic quiz this week around. So we've got another one for you now. This will go up on our social medias tomorrow. So have a think about it then, and then put your answers down underneath this when it gets posted. Charge from unsure tradesman for new access tool in urban area. Charge from unsure tradesman for new access tool in urban area. Have a think, and once that gets posted tomorrow, then you'll be able to put your answers down below it. But that will about do it for this week's episode of the Women's Football Chat. I'll be back next week bringing you all of the very latest, plus that round of 16 draw. Don't forget to keep voting for your favourite FAWNL side, and hopefully they will get through to the round of 16. Some big news from the world of the FAWNL this week, and pre-season is right around the corner. Some teams are now only a few days away from starting their pre-season campaigns. We are now just 8 weeks away from the start of the season. I'll be back next Thursday, same time, bringing you all of the very latest from the 3rd and 4th tiers of women's football here in England. But for now, goodbye.